don't know this song, you're too young for me. You are too young for me.
That's good.
Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is all about girl talk. We are going to be talking about periods, and periods. One of the most severe headaches of our lives. So I'm going to be telling you more about my period journey and how I've handled situations where I actually leaked on my clothes, and any and everything that I do actually when I'm on my periods, my nighttime routine, like everything about periods. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And yeah guys, let's just get right into the video. The first thing that I'm going to talk about today is when was the first time I had my period. So I had my period back in 2009, of which I was 10 going for 11 years old. I was still very young to get my period, honestly, like compared to the people that are around me. Well, for people that are outside my family, because it's a genetic thing where we in this family, we usually get our periods at an early age. Most people usually get their periods when they're like 12 years old, 13, or even 14 years old. So I got my period when I was 10 going for 11. So I was really too young to know things about periods, but I did know one thing for sure. I knew that there was something called sanitary pads because I do have an older sister, so I also saw from her like using those things, but I didn't really understand what was going on. I always knew that like that's all I knew basically. I remember the time when I used to go to my mother's workplace and they usually used to tease me about that because they always asked me when they showed me like pads and stuff. They usually said how when I go and I always said that that's all I knew about sanitary pads. I did not have any knowledge because I was too young to understand any and everything that had to do with periods, but I knew for sure that one day I'm also gonna wear this because there was a friend of mine who was just older than me back then. She got her period first, obviously, so I used to see from her and she would tell me that no, it's because there's blood that comes out, and I didn't understand the whole concept of blood coming out of a person. And the first time when I got my period, I didn't really understand what was happening, but luckily I had my mother on my side and she explained everything to me and I got to understand what was happening. But I wasn't really scared. Like I wasn't really, like some people usually get scared or they even cry actually because they're getting their first period. They don't even understand what's happening because there's blood coming out. I was lucky that I had my mother on my side and she sat me down, we spoke about it, and I just continued with my life. And that was the starting point of me getting my period. My period journey hasn't been the smoothest, and this is the reason why. I am not a person that usually gets their period every single month. I've never really had a consistent period dates, like when I know that okay, during this month I'm gonna get my period on the 25th or the 5th or the 30th or whenever. Like I'm not that person. Like my body is just not like that. Like I don't get my period each and every month. As I'm sitting here right now, I haven't got my period in, the last time I got my period was back in May, back in May, if not April. So I'm like that, like my body is like that. Like I don't really get my period on time like other people. It's not consistent at all. I've just realized that one of the issues that I might be facing, I don't know for sure what's happening, but one of the things that I might be facing is that it's because of weight gain, because weight gain can also cause your period to come late. It might just be that, or it's something else which is much more deeper. Obviously I need to go to the doctor to check myself out because I really don't know what's happening, because this started back when I was still in high school. I was doing, I think, grade 11. I was doing grade 11 when I started not getting my period on time. So I didn't really think it was a huge problem back then because I've never really had knowledge about periods and stuff. I just knew that it only came every single month and that was it. From grade 11 till I was doing grade 11 in 2014, so 2014 till 2016, 2017, that was the time when my period was not consistent. And then after that, from 2017 to 2019, then my period was okay, and then after that it came back to being inconsistent. I'm sitting here, I don't even know when I'm gonna start my period, and it's just a lot. It hasn't been like something that is too deep for me to go check it out. Like honestly, I haven't really thought about going to the doctor and everything. It's just that I haven't been really invested in it to go check it out. So I'm gonna check it out when I see the need to check it out, but for now I'm okay. And if you are a person who also faces what I'm facing, please do tell me. And no, it's not pregnancy. It is not pregnancy. I am not I'm not pregnant. I've never ever had a pregnancy scare of that sort. So nah, dude, I am not pregnant. I'm fine. Let us get into period leaks on clothes, which is what happens like during your menstruation period. One thing I'm gonna tell you now is that don't be embarrassed about it. Yes, it can be embarrassing. I mean, when you have a period leak on your clothing, especially when you're in public, like it is just a stressful time for you and you literally don't know what to do. It can be embarrassing, but don't be ashamed because it happens. Like, it is natural. If you didn't do it on purpose, obviously you're not going to do that on purpose, but if it's not on purpose, just know that there's literally nothing you can do but to just find a way to fix it. Like, find a way to, just find a way to fix everything, because I know that I'm a person that panics a lot, and if something like that happens in public, I usually panic. Just find a way to solve it quickly and fast. I'm going to tell you a story on how I leaked my clothes in public. So what happened was, I was in high school. I was doing grade 9, and luckily I was in a boarding school. I thank God that I went to a boarding school. It was one of the most amazing settings I've ever been in. A girls only boarding school, that is so important. I was in class, I was doing grade 9, and I was a bell ringer in grade 9, back in grade 9. So I usually stood up before everybody else to ring the bell, obviously. I was sitting in class, like it was a normal lesson. We were sitting in class, minding our own, like the teacher was teaching in front and everything. Like there was even no interaction in class. It was just quiet. It was silent in class. We were just listening to the teacher, and that was it. It was time for me to stand up and go ring the bell. Every time we stood up in class, like if you know that you are on your period, every time when we stood up, we used to ask each other, right? So we usually asked each other that question. I could say, please check me because I can't see myself at the back. I stood up. And guys, before I even continue with the story, please, if umuntu wesifazane mawusukuma ubuyisele ihlalo phakathi. Sengiyasho nje, just a side note, if you're standing up, push the chair inside the table. Don't just push isihlalo and then you shake and like, be a lady about everything, okay? So I was standing up, and as I was pushing my chair inside the table, and the setting was, the class was too tiny, like it was a really tiny class. So when I pushed the chair in front, like I was sitting at the back, because I was a bell ringer, so I couldn't sit in front. When I was pushing my chair in front, like the person who was sitting next to me, Melissa, so the time when I pushed the chair inside, my back was facing her. So when I pushed it, she was like, hey, like she was like, sit down. I'm like, what happened? And she's like, there's a mess. I'm like, oh shit, there's a mess. Oh my gosh, like I need to go ring the bell. I was starting to panic because I usually panic about a lot of things. I'm a person that panics a lot. So I sat down, yeah. And then when I sat down, she was like, no, I'm like, okay, sharp. She stood up, she went to ring the bell, and then she came back, and I was like, and she was like, ma'am, there's a situation. And the teacher obviously was like, oh, okay, because she knows these things. So she was like, hi, Hambani. And then I went to the dormitory. I went upstairs to the dormitory and I changed, which was amazing actually, because if I was in a day school, I don't know what I would have done actually. Like I literally don't know what I would have done. I mean, I probably would have cried or something like that. So I missed myself, and then I quickly went to the dormitory, I changed, and then I went back to class, which was good. If I was in a day school with boys even, I don't know what I would have done honestly. So I really thank God that I was in a boarding school. So that was my situation when I had a period leak. And I mean, it was just that, and it was fine. After that, it was a normal day. And what we usually did in school, which is one of the tips that I'm going to give you right now, is that we usually had just in case. We usually had a just in case in our bags. We usually had an extra pad in our bags so that if something happens, if you just start a period in class or somewhere far away from your dormitory, then obviously you'll just take a pad from your bag and go put on your pad and be okay for the rest of the day. Just in case, for me, it wasn't a pad where you had it for yourself. Like, it was usually for another person, but it was yours, but it was for another person, so that maybe if someone starts their period, they'd be like, "Buffet, are you gonna just in case?" Well, it just usually happened like that. Like, we usually asked each other, "Was are you gonna just in case? Are you gonna just in case?" And then we gave each other the pad. In boarding school, you were forced to care for another person, so it was basically just that. Have a pad in your bag all the damn time. Have a pad and wipes in your bag all the time. These are the few tips that I'm gonna give you. So first things first, I am a heavy bleeder, and back then when I was younger, I used to have a 7-day period. So I used to menstruate for 7 days. It was 7 days back then, but now it's like 4 days. I am a person that uses sanitary pads. I do not use tampons at all. Yes, I wanted to try tampons out because, you know, I don't wear panties anymore. I don't want to wear panties at all. Periods are one of the things that force me to wear a panty, and I hate it actually. So I want to try tampons out. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I use sanitary pads. I use the Always sanitary pads. I just don't have them right now because I haven't been to the shops and I haven't got my period since forever. I use the Always sanitary pads, the long one, the night pads. I use them during the day and I use them at night as well because I'm a heavy bleeder all day, every day. So that's what I use for my periods. Now, I'm going to give you a tip on how to deal with dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea is basically a scientific word for period cramps. What I use for my period cramps is I use medication, obviously. I use the pills that are called Hyoscine. They're for abdominal pain. They work, they do the job. They literally do the job. I use those pills all the time when I do have period cramps. Another tip I can give you is you can use warm water with cucumber. Some people, it does help. I haven't tried it out, but there's someone that I know that has done the warm water and cucumber mixture and it has worked out for them. And another tip that I can give you is you can do yoni steaming. So you can do your yoni steaming before your period and do your yoni steaming after your period for cleansing and for period cramps. And another method that you can also use is yoga. There are lots and lots of videos on YouTube about yoga when you're on your period, so for period cramps basically. So you can also do yoga for period cramps. It will work out for you perfectly as well. So I'm going to tell you more about my nighttime routine when I am on my period. You need to shower twice a day when you are on your period. Like, guys, that is just, it's just a given. Like, shower twice a day so that you can feel fresh for bed. So at night I shower and I wipe myself using wipes and not tissue. Tissue does not do the work for anything. It does not do the work that it needs to do. Like, for me, like, I hate tissue. Like, I hate toilet paper. I hate it. I opt for using wipes more than to use a toilet paper. Not unless I don't have wipes, like I've run out of wipes, then obviously I will use a toilet paper. But honestly, like, the first option is using wipes. Wipes are just amazing. I wipe myself using wipes just to, you know, be gentle in that area. Like, don't be too harsh. Tissue can be harsh, even if it's 2-ply. Even if it's 2-ply, it can be really harsh. So I'd rather just use wipes. I wipe myself using wipes, and then after wiping myself, and then I put my pad on my panty, and then put a towel over your bed. Put a towel over your bed for leak purposes, because at night we usually leak the most. To prevent leaking on my sheets or on my cover or anything, like, I usually put a towel over the cover or over the sheets, and then I lay over the towel so that in the morning, if I did actually leak, then it's easier. So put a towel over your bed and just sleep. We're right. So that's my nighttime routine. I shower and then I put like a towel over my bed and sleep. That's my nighttime routine. Oh, and take medication as well. If you're gonna opt for medication, take it before you sleep so that when you sleep, period cramps don't wake you up, because they usually wake you up because it's painful. It's really painful. And the last tip for your periods is how to keep track of your periods using an app. So there are many apps that you can use to track your periods. Obviously, they don't apply to me. But I feel like they will apply to you because obviously maybe you do get your periods consistently. So use an app to track your period, like so that you can know just in case you need to have it in your bag in these days, in this week my period might be coming, so I need to have it just in case in my bag. So it's just for that, like keep track of your period, keep track on how many days you go for your period. These apps, they also give you advice, they also give you like nice messages, they also tell you when you're ovulating. Apps really do work. If you want to track your period like that and you don't want to be surprised, then download an app. There's many apps. I know there's a period calendar, it's pink. I used to use that app like way back when my periods were consistent, but now obviously I can't use it because my periods are not consistent. But I'm hoping that next month I am going to get my period. I'm hoping. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it did teach you something. I hope that you did learn something from what I said. I hope that you have a happy period, and please don't be stressed when you're having your period. Like Iba rights, like be fine, be okay. Don't let your period mosha your day. Like have a nice day. Even if you're on your period, have a good day actually. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Please like, please comment whatever you want to comment, like comment with a heart even. Like I'd really appreciate that a lot, and I will see you on my next one. Bye guys.